Hello, everyone. Welcome to TD Board Gamers. My name is Dave. I'm going to do a live stream. Right now, I'm just testing to make sure it works, but we're going to do an unboxing here of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. campaign box. So let me make sure the stream is working. I've been having some issues, so let me check here real quick. Looks like it's working. Maybe. Looks like it's working. Maybe. All right, let me close that so we don't get an echo. All right. So, yeah, I finally got my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. box. Had to kind of drive all over the place to find it, but I was able to get a copy. And so we're going to do an unboxing. Unfortunately, Dirk is not available this weekend, so I'll be doing this by myself. And I'm just going to look at the hero cards in this set for now. And, I'm probably going to do a solo campaign because I'm not exactly sure when Dirk's going to be back. But without any further ado, let's open it up. I'm going to try to monitor the chat as we go. So if anyone joins in, I know I couldn't get a scheduling thing going, which I guess is a good thing is because this is almost 2 hours after I was originally going to do it. So I did not realize I was going to have this much trouble finding a copy, but I actually got a copy. So I've been looking forward to this since they first announced it back in September. So, all right, come here, you. All right, so we got all sorts of fun stuff. I'm not going to open the villain stuff. We'll just reveal that as we go. But so we got like an envelope here. We've got some decks, of course. So there's Nick Fury's deck and Maria Hill's deck. That's what we're going to look at today. And then we've got the villain cards. All right. So, and we got the book. So let's move this over here out of the way for now. All right. So, Marvel Champions, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We are Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Our jurisdiction is the planet. I guess when I read it originally, I think I said our justification is the planet, but it's actually our jurisdiction is the planet. Maria Hill. Welcome to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. campaign expansion for Marvel Champions, the card game. This set features 2 new heroes as well as 5 new scenarios that tell the story of the members of S.H.I.E.L.D., a transnational intelligence agency that fights to keep the world safe. So we got, of course, villain cards. We got the identity cards components. Is 273 cards. We got 95 player cards, 8 villain cards, 61 encounter cards, and 9 evidence cards, and 2 card envelopes. And then, of course, we got the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. logo, which is awesome. So we got 2 new, I don't know. I think they're new. Find. When you are instructed to find a card, search each area where the card could be found. Play area, set aside area, player deck, discard pile, encounter deck. Do not search the victory display. Cards that have been removed from the game or face down encounter cards currently dealt to players. Do not search game areas unnecessarily if you know where the card you are looking for can be found. So this is to avoid unnecessarily searching the encounter deck. Tuck, when you are instructed to tuck a card under another card, place the tuck card face up under the other card. The tuck card is not in play. When a card leaves play, any cards tucked under it is discarded. Okay. And then form. Cards with the form. This is not new. Cards with the form keyword grant your identity unique forms, such as Nick Fury's suit form. These forms are in addition to your identity's alter ego and hero forms, and they come with their own conditions for changing into them. When an identity changes their additional form, it does not count against the once per turn limit on flipping from hero to alter ego, but it does count as changing forms for purposes of triggering card effects. So, for what that means is Nick's suit, when you change form, that would qualify for Ready to Rumble, which is nice. Hinder X, we've had that before. Insight X, Patrol, permanent. So those are all the same. Piercing, range, setup, stalwart, steady, team up, victory, villainous. Those are all vulnerable. Here's a new keyword. When a character with the vulnerable becomes stunned or confused, that character is immediately discarded. That character is not considered defeated, even if it is simultaneously dealt enough damage to defeat it. So that's important for people who've seen the article. You can actually discard a minion, and the when defeated effect would not trigger. So that's really good. All right. All-purpose counters. When a card effect places one or more all-purpose counters on a card, i.e. Shield Director, or moves them from one card to another, like Maria's ability, those counters lose any previously defined type and become the type defined by the new card. Oh, okay. So if a new card has no defined type for all-purpose counters on it, any counters on it are considered all-purpose counters. So that's like, if you take a counter from surveillance team, they're snoop counters, and then you move it to say TAC team, they would change to, I think those are assault counters or something, or assault. Amplifies the same, attacking it. Non-scaling villain HP, so they're talking about the different villains here, and there's a redacted villain. Each of these villains has a forced interrupt that triggers when the villain's hit points are reduced to 0. That provides the player a benefit, and then they reset. So that's the same. Campaign mode, rules. So each of the scenarios in this expansion can be played individually or as a standalone adventure, or together with the other scenarios as part of one overarching campaign. Campaign modes combine all the 5 scenarios in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. expansion into one epic experience where the outcome of each game impacts the next scenario. To complete the campaign, the players must win all 5 scenarios in numerical order, starting with scenario 1 and ending with scenario 5. Again, they're keeping it redacted, so Dirk would like the redacted part. To begin the campaign, the players start by choosing their heroes. To play a scenario in the campaign mode, set up the scenario as per rules of the game. Then, before players draw their starting hands, follow scenario. Set up campaign logs. We got a campaign log, of course. We have what's called the S.H.I.E.L.D. Executive Board. And I'm not going to go over it, but we do have something called Prepare the Evidence. So when you start a campaign, you're going to determine the mole. You're going to separate the 9 evidence cards by their card backs into 3 piles. Shuffle each set of 3 and put one in the aim envelope without looking at them. So this is the means, motives, and I forget what the evidence. And this is like if you ever played the old board game Clue, there you go. So you're going to shuffle them, and then you got to deduce the identity of the 3 cards. So you're going to gather evidence. In order to determine the mole's means, motives, and opportunity, in so doing, discover the identity of the mole, the players must eliminate the other means, motives, and operate, again, like Clue. The players can then figure out which of these cards were placed in the aim envelope through the process of elimination. This, in turn, tells them which board member is the mole. To gain evidence cards, the players uncover the secrets of each board member. Each is represented by an environment card that begins each scenario in play with a certain number of secret counters on it, representing dirt that AIM is using to blackmail that board member. During the scenario, players can use the abilities on the board members to investigate them. Each time the players uncover a board member secret, that board member is compelled to provide assistance to that player. In addition to these immediate benefits, if at least one of the board members has no secret counters on them when the scenario ends, the players gain an evidence card from the shield envelope. Evidence cards are not added to any deck once gained. Instead, they provide the players with the information about the mole as well as a setup ability that is resolved by the campaign setup instructions for each subsequent scenario. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And then the board member is going to portray us, of course. Expert campaign. Some setup and victory instructions are preceded by expert campaign. And then persistent damage, which of course is the same. So it doesn't look like we have any campaign restrictions. That's kind of what I'm wondering. Because sometimes they tell you like you can't switch decks or you can't switch heroes. Oh, here it is. Each player must use their chosen identity for the entire campaign, but they are free to change aspects and alter. So you can alter your decks, but once you choose your heroes, you're playing that hero throughout the whole campaign. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. And then we've got Nick Fury and Maria Hill's starter decks. And then the comic and scenario 1. All right. So let's switch to the other view here. So let's do that now. All right. And let's start with Nick Fury's deck. And some of these cards, of course, were spoiled in the original article, and then there were some content creators. So, all right. Let's start Alter Ego here. All right. So we got Surfer Nick here. What is that? Okay. He is got a 4 recovery, shield soldier spy, setup, put your suit form upgrade into play, assault side face up, infiltrate, change to stealth suit form. Now I don't have YouTube open right now. I do have the chat. So if anyone is watching and wants to chat along, please do so. I do not know how many people are watching right now. And I won't throughout this broadcast because I don't have that open right now. Nick Fury is a 2/2/2 shield soldier spy. Gather intel. Response. After Nick Fury makes a basic thwart, place 1 threat on your suit form upgrade. Break cover. Force interrupt. When you attack, change to assault suit form. Okay. And then we got his suit, which is a double-sided card. This is the assault side. Item tech. Suit form permanent. When you attack, remove up to 3 threat from here. This attack deals 1 additional damage for each threat removed this way. Okay. And, oops. We got the stealth side, which is suit form permanent, item tech, force interrupt hero. When an enemy would attack you, it schemes instead. Place 1 threat here. Place 1 threat from that activation here instead of on the main scheme if there are 5 or less threat on this card. Okay, so when a scheme, 1 of the threat goes on the card instead of the main scheme, which is nice. All right, and then his signature ally is Maria Hill. She costs 3, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 3 hit points, shield. When Maria Hill thwarts, place the remove threat on your suit form upgrade. Okay. Then we have 2 copies of Concentrate Fire. It is an attack. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. This attack gains range. If this attack defeats an enemy, choose. Place threat on your suit form upgrade equal to the enemy's printed scheme. Or you could change the stealth suit form. And of course, since it's an attack, you can put 3. You can move 3 counters from your suit on there. All right, then we got 3 copies of Covert Surveillance. It's a 1 cost event. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. If you are in stealth suit form, you may place that threat on your suit form upgrade. Otherwise, you may change to the suit form. So that's a good way to change, because you cannot willingly change back to your stealth suit without going to alter ego or playing these cards. We got 2 copies of Spray Fire. 3 cost an attack. Hero action attack. Choose a player. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. This attack gains range. Okay. Then we got Fury's Flying Car. Aerial Tech Vehicle. This is how Nick gets to be aerial. It's a 2 cost support. Exhaust Fury's Flying Car and remove 1 threat from your suit form upgrade. Ready Nick Fury. He gains the aerial trait until the end of the round. Then we have Safe House 221. It's a 1 cost support. Location shield. Alter ego action. Exhaust Safe House number 221. Choose. Heal 2 damage from Nick Fury. Place 1 threat on your suit form upgrade. EM Shield, 2 cost upgrade. Preparation Tech. Interrupt defense. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, discard EM Shield. Prevent all of that damage. We got the eye patch camera. It's a 2 cost upgrade. Preparation Tech. When any amount of threat would be placed on the main scheme, discard eye patch camera. Place up to 3 of that threat on your suit form upgrade instead. We got Fury's Watch, which is a 1 cost upgrade. Item Tech. Exhaust Fury's Watch and remove up to 2 threat from your suit form upgrade. Generate a mental resource for each threat you remove this way. We have Intelligence Analysis. Preparation Skill. When you reveal a treachery, discard Intelligence Analysis and remove 1 threat from your suit form upgrade. Cancel the effects of that treachery and discard it. So this is a treachery canceller. Okay. Then his last card here, that's in from his kit anyways, is Secret Agent, 2 cost upgrade. Title. After you resolve the ability of a preparation card you control, move 1 threat from a scheme to your suit form upgrade. All right, and we got Agent Coulson. This is a reprint from the Black Widow deck, but it makes sense since he's all about preparation cards. He's a 3 cost ally, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 3 hit point shield spy. After Agent Coulson enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a preparation card and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Quake, which is another reprint. 2 cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 hit points, Avenger Shield. After a minion schemes, exhaust Quake, deal 2 damage to that minion. So Dirk and I, we pretty much assumed we'd be adding Quake, but okay, she comes with Nick here. Then we got another reprint here. 3 copies of Global Logistics, 0 cost event. Exhaust 1 shield card you control. Look at the top 4 cards of a player deck or an encounter deck. Discard any number of those and put the other on top and or bottom of the deck in any order. Okay. Then we got 3 copies of Informant. This we saw in the article. It's a 1 cost upgrade. Preparation, max 1 per player. When a minion schemes, discard Informant. This activation removes threat instead of placing it. We've got 3 copies of Intelligence, which is a 1 cost upgrade. Preparation, max 1 per player. After a player is dealt an encounter card, discard Intelligence. Look at each encounter card dealt to each player and the top card of the encounter deck. You may swap any number of those cards. So that's pretty nice. You can tailor the cards to people strengths here. We got 3 copies of Prism Dust. Preparation Tech, max 1 per player. After a minion enters play, discard Prism Dust, confuse that minion, and deal 2 damage to it. Okay, we have another reprint here. Under Surveillance. Attach to the main scheme, max 1 per scheme. Increase the target threat value of the attached scheme by 4. All right. Then we have Nick Fury Sr. So since Nick Fury ally we can't use anymore, we've got his dad, who's pretty similar. 4-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit points, shield soldier. After Nick Fury Sr. enters play, choose 1. Remove 3 threat from a scheme, draw 2 cards, or give a shield character a tough status card. At the end of the round, if Nick Fury Sr. is in play, discard him. All right. We've got the team up card for him and Maria. Super Spy, 0-cost event. Team up Maria Hill and Nick Fury. Max 1 per deck. Hero action. Place a total of 3 all-purpose counters and or threat tokens on shield supports and or suit form upgrades. Then we got Gemma Simpson here. Try that again. Gemma Simmons, 3-cost support, Persona Shield. Reduce the cost to play Gemma Simmons by 2 if your identity has a shield trait, which Nick does, of course. Resource, exhaust Gemma Simmons, generate a mental resource for a tech card. So it only costs Nick 1. Then we got Leo Fitz, 3-cost support, Persona Shield. Same thing, reduce the cost by 2. Alter Ego action, exhaust Leo Fitz. Search your deck for a tech card and add it to your hand. All right. And we got Sky Destroyer, which we've seen before. As a 3-cost support. Shield vehicle. After you play a shield card, exhaust Sky Destroyer. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. Practice Plan. This is a card I've been waiting for. Max 1 per player. After you discard a preparation card you control, discard Practice Plan. Return that card to your hand from your discard pile. Okay. So he does not have the double resources. Interesting. I'm not sure how I like that. I probably will add double resources to his deck. Oops. And I think I made it worse. Come on. Focus. All right. So here's his obligation. He is discovered. Give the Nick Fury player, when revealed, change to Assault Suit form. If there is no threat on your suit form upgrade, this card gains Surge. Otherwise, choose to either take 1 damage for each threat on your suit form upgrade or remove each threat from your suit form upgrade. In either case, discard this card. Oh, so this does not go away. Oh, there's no way to remove it from the game. That's annoying. Okay. Orion is his nemesis. 2 scheme, 2 attack, 6 hit points, Leviathan, toughness. Orion can have any number of tough status cards, so kind of similar to Armadillo. After Orion takes any amount of damage, give him a tough status card. All right, then we have Acquiring the Infinity Formula. This is his side scheme. Forced response. After Nick Fury takes any amount of damage, give Orion a tough status card. If Orion is not in play, find him and put him into play. Engage with the Nick Fury player. Okay. So you can't get away from him that easily. All right, then we have 2 copies of Leviathan Soldier. 0 scheme, 2 attack, 4 hit points, Leviathan toughness. After Leviathan Soldier schemes, deal 1 damage to the engaged player's identity. So, yep, it's working into Nick's strategy, which makes sense. Then we have Cold Storage. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Leviathan minion and put it into play. Engage with you. Shuffle. Otherwise, take 2 damage. And as a boost, take 1 damage. All right. Well, that's Nick Fury's deck. Now let's take a look at Maria Hill's deck. All right, so we got Maria Hill here. Let's look at her alter ego. 3 recovery. Shield Spy. You may include the maximum number of copies of 3 shield supports in your deck from aspects other than your chosen aspect. Action. Exhaust Maria Hill. Search your deck for a shield support and add it to your hand. So I like the fact that you can play with off aspect. I love the characters that break the normal deck building rules. Maria Hill, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense, shield spy. Each ally you control gains a shield trait reassignment. Move 1 all-purpose counter from a shield support to another shield support. Limit once per round. All right. Her signature ally is Nick Fury, of course. He costs 4, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit point shield. After Nick Fury uses the basic power, place an all-purpose counter on a shield support. So that's good. We have 2 copies of All Point Bulletin. It's a tactic. Hero action for each shield support you control. Choose. Remove 1 threat from a scheme. Deal 1 damage to an enemy. And it's for each one, so you could split it, which is nice. You got a lot of versatility here. We got 2 copies of On the Double. Action. Ready any number of shield support with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. We got 3 copies of Reinforcements. Reinforcements is a 1 cost event. Choose any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. Place 1 all-purpose counter on each of those supports. Ooh, that's really nice. The Hard Call. 2 cost event. Discard a shield support you control. Deal X damage to each enemy where X is the printed cost of the discarded support. We have 2 copies of Special Funding. Response. After you spin this card to pay for a shield support, place 1 all-purpose counter on that support after it enters play, and it's a mental strength. And you have 2 copies of that. Support Staff. It's a 1 cost support. Persona Shield. Use 3 staff counters. Exhaust support staff and remove 1 staff counter from it. Generate a wild resource for a player whose identity has a shield trait. Oh, nice. So you could actually do this. You could help Nick and any other shield, which, of course, they have to be an alter ego. Like Captain America or Black Widow. Okay, we have the Iliad, which is a 6 cost support. Shield vehicle uses 3 mission counters. Action. Exhaust the Iliad and remove 1 mission counter from it. Choose. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. Remove 4 threat from a scheme. Heal 3 damage from an identity. Then we have Life Model Decoy. It's a 2 cost upgrade. Preparation tech. When an enemy attacks you, discard Life Model Decoy. Prevent all damage from that attack. And her last card is Shield Director. 2 cost upgrade. Title, Exhaust Shield Director. Place 1 all-purpose counter on a shield support. So that's nice. You have once per turn, you can add 1 once that's out. All right. Then we got, so she comes in leadership. We got Victoria Hand, 3 cost ally, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 2 hit points. Shield. After Victoria Hand enters play, ready a shield support. We got Slingshot here. 3 cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, shield spy. Spend an energy resource. Put Slingshot into play from your hand under any player's control. At the end of the phase, if Slingshot is still in play, return her to your hand. So you can play her normally for 3, or you could play her for 1, but only during the hero phase. So she wouldn't be able to defend, but you've got her. You can keep slingshotting her back into your hand. All right. Then we got 3 copies of Organizational Support. It provides a mental interrupt. When you spin this card, exhaust up to 3 allies and or supports you control that share a trait with your identity. Generate the printed resources on each of those cards exhausted that way. Okay. Then we got 3 copies of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a team card. Play under any player's control, max 1 team card per player. If each of your characters has the shield trait, this card gains interrupt. When you reveal an encounter card, exhaust this card, reveal the effects of that card. I'll cancel the effects of that card and discard it. Then reveal another card from the encounter deck. So yeah, you can ignore an annoying treachery card. All right. Three. Then we got a reprint. This was originally in the War Machine hero pack. Command team, 2-cost support. Shield uses 3 command counters. Exhaust command team and remove 1 command counter from it to ready an ally. All right. And then we got the 4 helicarriers here. So the first one is the leadership one, the Cersei. 6-cost support. Shield vehicle. Uses 2 deploy counters. Exhaust the Cersei. Remove 1 deploy counter from it. And choose a player. That player puts an ally into play from their hand. The aggression one is the Bellerophon. Shield vehicle. Uses 3 missile counters. Exhaust the Bellerophon. Remove 1 missile counter from it. And choose a player. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. Discarding all tough status cards from those enemies first. And so I was Dirk and I were wondering why it does not have piercing. And someone pointed out in that video, so thank you very much, piercing is associated with attacks. And since this is not an attack, they wanted the effect of piercing, they had to spell it out. Justice is the Douglas, 6-cost support. Shield vehicle, use 3 operation counters. Action, exhaust the Douglas and remove 1 operation counter from it. Remove 2 threat from a scheme, ignoring any crisis icons in place. This is good if you got a lot of side schemes. Then the protection one is the Pericles, 6-cost support. Uses 2 supply counters. Exhaust the Pericles and remove 1 supply counter from it. Give a hero or a villain a status card of your choice. Give an ally or a minion a status card of your choice. Okay. Then we got Dum Dum Dugan, which is this a reprint. 5-cost ally. 3 thwart, 3 consequential damage. 3 attack, 2 consequential damage. 5 hit point shield. When you use one of Dum Dum Dugan's basic powers, exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control. For each card exhausted this way, Dum Dum Dugan gets +1 to that power for that use. So that's nice. Grant Ward is a 0-cost ally. 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit points, shield spy. Grant Ward cannot defend. After reveal a treachery, you may spend a mental resource. If you do not, take damage equal to Grant Ward's attack and remove Grant Ward from the game. So you would take 2 damage and then he'd be removed from the game. Yeah, he doesn't stop the treacheries, but you got to keep him from betraying you, I guess. Then we got Melinda May, 4-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, shield spy, 3 hit points. After Melinda May uses a basic power, look at the top card of the encounter deck. You may discard that card. Okay. Then we have her team up with Nick. So we saw this card in the Nick Fury, but I'll go over it again. It's a 0-cost event. Team up, Maria Hill and Nick Fury. Max 1 per deck. Hero action. Place a total of 3 all-purpose counters and or threat tokens on shield supports and or suit form upgrades. Okay. And then we got new art for the double resources. So we saw this with the X-Men wave. So that's cool that we're continuing that. So yeah, so there's the energy. So it provides 2 energy. There's the genius. And here is the strength. So that's awesome. Okay. Then we got 3 copies of Front Organization. Is a 0-cost support. Location. Play under any player's control, max 1 per location. When an encounter card effect would discard a card you control, discard the Front Organization instead of discarding that card. Now it has the shield logo on the side, but it is not a shield card. So unfortunately, you cannot exhaust this to help pay for things. But it is great to keep things from going away. All right, then her obligation is a press conference. So Maria loves talking to the press, I'm sure. Give to the Maria Hill player. Forced response. After the player phase ends, remove 1 all-purpose counters from each support you control. And as an alter ego action, exhaust your identity to discard. So, looks like we've got kind of like the X-Force thing going again, where We discard obligations instead of removing them from play. There's no option to remove them from play. The controller, controller, 2 scheme, 1 attack, 6 hit points, elite psionic. After controller activates against you, remove 1 all-purpose counter from a support. If controlled innocence is in play, put the top card of your deck into play, face down, engage with you as a controlled minion. Oh, goody. Kind of sounds like Ultron there. All right. Army of the Controlled. When revealed, find the controlled innocence environment and put it into play. When defeated, discard each controlled minion. Place 1 all-purpose counter on a support for each minion discarded this way. All right. Controlled innocence. Wait, so when he comes out from shadows? No. Oh, interesting. Oh, but when so when shadows comes out, controlled innocent environment will come out. So, I was seeing if maybe it would get shuffled into the encounter deck, but very rarely is it going to get shuffled into the encounter deck. Controlled innocence. Each face down controlled minion engages with a player, has a base scheme of 1, base attack of 1, and a base hit point of 1. After a controlled minion is defeated, place that card in its owner's discard pile and place 1 threat on the main scheme. So this is very similar to Ultron's drones. And then we have Diabolical Discs. We have 2 copies of this. It's a Surge. Remove 1 all-purpose counter from a support. If controlled innocent is in play, put the top card of your deck into play, face down, engage with you as a controlled minion. Okay. So it's interesting is, someone else in multiplayer could draw this and Maria's still losing an all-purpose counter. Okay. So, so like I said, Dirk, unfortunately, is not available this weekend. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to look at these decks really carefully. I'm definitely going to do a little bit of tweaking of them. And then I will do the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. campaign. And I also got the Drowned City investigation box. So I do need to do an unboxing of that as well. So, okay. Well, anyways, thank you for watching, everyone. Please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Thank you.